Going live?
Okay.
Hush.
We got another-
Hush back
we
there.
got half a minute maybe, I don't know, it's 5:50 now.
Martin didn't even touch up his makeup yet.
So Matt.
That's on you.
Yeah,
Okay, we ready?
we're ready.
Okay, we will call to order this Town of Griswold Board of Selectmen regular meeting on Tuesday, March 10th, 2026 at 6 PM. Item number one, call to order, roll call. Tina Falk for Selectmen. To my right, Wayne Malin, Selectman, and to my left, Matt Danieluk, Selectman. Item number two, Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item number three, we have approval of minutes. We have February 10th, regular meeting minutes, February 12th, special meeting minutes, February 18th, special meeting minutes, February 25th, special meeting minutes, and February 26th, special meeting minutes. Any discussion on those?
No, I'll make a motion that we accept February 10th regular meeting minutes, February 12th special meeting minutes, February 18th special meeting minutes, February 25th special meeting minutes, and February 26th.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve items A through E. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number four, correspondence. Letter of resignation from Dominic Scavone from the Rec Commission. I have a very scratchy throat, so
All right.
forgive me, folks. All right, any,
So, yes. Yeah, I kind of knew this was coming. I went to the rec committee meeting last month, so this will accept the resignation letter from Dominic Scavone for the Recreation Committee. Make a motion to accept that letter.
okay. I don't know that we need a motion.
No, we
No,
don't.
no?
Motion.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah, I think.
Wayne, you want to take over? 4B.
4B?
Yeah, because I don't want to keep choking.
Okay. So we got the yearly total report so far for Jewett City Fire Department 2026. They've had, well, this is only counts for January right now, 51 EMS calls, 6 service calls, 7 fire calls, and 2 service or MVA calls. So it's 57, 64, 66 calls total. Then we have individual call-outs who showed up. Not to mention training, everything else. They did have OSHA training a couple weeks ago on a Sunday. It's an annual requirement, so we did that. And that's pretty much it. And we'll get the February report next month, or next meeting.
Okay. Thank you. And then, Lisa, we also have the Griswold.
Yeah, if you want to just note for the record that Griswold just did theirs.
Yep, Griswold did submit theirs.
Okay.
All right, and 4C, letter of resignation from Rob Perrette from the Inland Wetlands and Conservation Commission. Very sorry to see Rob resign. And then 4D is a thank you card for an anonymous donor who made a very generous donation to the families in our town.
Nice.
Excellent.
5, old business, discussion and possible action on alternate member E. Jeffrey Hutchinson to a regular member position on the Inland Wetlands and Conservation Commission to fill the unexpired portion of a term of 12/24/22 through 12/13/2026.
I will motion to appoint Jeffrey Hutchinson to the regular member position on inland wetlands and conservation to fill that vacancy.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to appoint E. Jeffrey Hutchinson to the Inland Wetlands and Conservation Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Does that leaves an alternate vacancy then, just one? Okay.
Not sure.
Yes, it should leave an alternate.
If you're moving somebody up from office.
Right, I just making sure it was just that one, because I'm noting the vacancies.
Okay.
Mhm.
5B, discussion and possible action on membership of the Griswold Housing Authority. Now, you, Wayne, had asked
Yep.
that we research, you found a statute, and I had indicated that that I would reach out to town's attorney
Yep.
for clarification on the statute. We don't have any definite answers at this time. All right, so we're hoping that for the next Board of Selectmen meeting, I will have more information for you. I have been communicating with town's attorney and also with Hartford, with the Housing, Department of Housing. And as I said, once you start peeling some of these statutes away, they can be pretty vague. So we're gonna have to wait on an answer for that. But I wanna state, and this is just me stating for the record, that I am very uncomfortable with this, because there are two people that we seem to have identified on the Griswold Housing Authority. And I feel badly about it because, and I'm being brutally honest here, people, these are people who have lived here their whole lives. They have volunteered for years on one committee, one commission, one position or another. And I almost feel, or at least I would feel, that I was being targeted, and I'm not comfortable with that at all. So I'm trying to do due diligence, do my homework, so that we know in the end that whatever the answers are, that's how it will remain. So I will report back at the next Selectmen's meeting.
Okay, I'll put on the record that I don't believe you are targeted. I think we're just trying to follow the state statutes as written.
I know, but at the same time, some of these statutes are very old. And it seems, okay, we're questioning housing authority and somebody serving on another committee, and yet in town, we have multiple committees where the same people are serving on more than one committee. It might be one, it might be two, it might be three, and there's never a problem with that. So I think that we need to get clarification. I will feel better once we have clarification.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we will table 5B until the next Board of Selectmen meeting.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to table item 5B. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. 5C, discussion and possible action on planning of carnival and fireworks contract for the May Carnival. And I think Ryan left a property use agreement
Yep.
for you, yeah,
Read through that.
all right,
You guys had
and,
a meeting on this last week, right?
Yes.
yes, we did. I guess Ryan signed it. I don't know that anybody from the town has to sign it. I know it's an agreement between the town of Griswold, but I'm assuming that's Ryan's signature.
Yeah.
And Mr. Norman did sign it. Did you have a chance to look it over, and do you have any questions?
No, I understand using Mr. Norman's property as he's done before for the fireworks placement and stuff. And I don't know, does Mr. Holloway have to sign this as a fire marshal, something like that?
There's probably gonna there'll be a permit from Tom, from the fire marshal.
What's that?
Tom, fire marshal will have to issue like a permit.
I'll have to sign off on the fireworks contract, and then I'll have to sign off on the state permit.
Okay,
Yeah, I think this is purely just acknowledgement that Mr. Norman's gonna allow them to use his property to do
yep.
it.
He's always very good about it, which is nice.
Last week, Tom said he needed that before he could go any further.
Perfect.
Oh, okay, well,
So that's step one then.
so we'll get a copy of this to Tom. All right, Ryan may have already done that. Okay, we'll go on to item number 6.
Excuse me, are you gonna
Yes.
take any action to approve that contract so we can officially get it signed?
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve this property use agreement for the Norman property for this year's fireworks display.
I'll second.
And the fireworks contract itself that he has, that has to be signed.
But we don't have a copy of that.
You doing your packet?
Oh, it's in the packet, okay. So the property use agreement and the contract, I will make a motion that the board approve both documents, and we will forward them to the appropriate people.
That I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 6A, discussion and possible action on 7 tax refunds for a total of $4,564.81 as presented by Leona Sharkey, tax collector.
I'll make a motion to accept the 7 tax refunds for a total of $4,564.81 as presented by Leona Sharkey, tax collector.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the tax refunds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6B, discussion and possible action on social media issues. I have nothing.
I have nothing.
No,
Nothing, Matt? 6C, discussion and possible action on reappointment of Michelle Kelly as a member of the Griswold Housing Authority for a term of 2/1/2026 through 1/31/2031.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Michelle Kelly as a member of the Griswold Housing Authority for a term of 2/1/2026 to 1/31/2031.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to reappoint Michelle Kelly to the Griswold Housing Authority. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6D, discussion and possible action on appointment of Ryan Snide from a 2-year member term on the Recreation Committee to fill a 4-year term of 7/27/2022 through 7/26/2026.
I'll make a motion to accept the appointment of Ryan Snide from a 2-year member term on the Recreation Commission to fill a 4-year term of 7/27/2022 well, he's actually going to complete Dominic's term is what he's doing.
Okay.
To
Yeah, he just wants to
7/26/2026.
switch to the longer term.
Right.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the appointment of Ryan Snide for the Rec Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6E, discussion and possible action on appointment of Melissa Staniski from an alternate member of the Recreation Commission to a regular member, 2-year term of 5/16/2024 through 5/15/2026.
Didn't we just reappoint that one? I feel like I've seen this name like
So
3 times.
Ryan took Dominic's spot.
Oh, she's sliding
And
into
she's
Ryan's
sliding up
spot,
into Ryan's slot.
and so now they'll have,
Right, a full board, but there will be an alternate opening, correct?
Yeah.
That's the way that's going.
You may remember reappointing her as an alternate.
So, I'll make a motion to appoint Melissa Staniski from an alternate member of the Recreation Commission to a regular member, 2-year term, 5/16/2024 to 5/15/2026.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the appointment of Melissa Staniski to the Recreation Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6F, discussion and possible action on request by the Senior Center Director to apply for a grant. Lisa, you're up.
Here I am.
Yep.
Thank you for hearing. I would like to apply for 2 grants actually through Senior Resources. One is for podiatrist services for foot care, and he does like foot assessment and nail trimming. Healthy feet are happy feet, or happy feet are healthy feet. And the second grant, I would like to apply toward instructors and stuff for the senior center,
Wellness,
for exercise.
Yep. okay.
I think that's excellent.
Any questions?
0. I'm glad that we got here this quickly after talking about it, so.
Yeah, we did, and just for the record, it seemed like there were grants being applied for that the Board of Selectmen were not aware of. And it has always been the standard that when employees, town staff were applying for grants, they at least inform the Board of Selectmen so that there's no duplication and we know what's happening. So, thank you. All right,
Do we need we want a motion? So I'll motion to accept the request to apply by the senior center director for 2 grants. I'll second.
okay, we have, do you know the amount of those grants?
I don't know because it just starts, we do a letter of intent by Friday.
Yeah.
And then we have like till the 23rd to submit our drafts.
Good,
Okay.
okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second to allow, I don't want to say allow, but to encourage the senior center director to apply for 2 grants from the Senior Resource Agency. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6G, discussion and possible action on contract between the town of Griswold and the Borough of Jewett City regarding collection of taxes. And you do have that in here.
It's something that happens every year.
It happens every year, and it was presented at the borough meeting last Monday night, and then it was passed on to the town, and it's the contract between town of Griswold and the Borough of Jewett City regarding collection of taxes. I did run this past our finance director, Kelly. She did read through it and has given approval on it. So, she did not find anything that was out of order.
Yeah, I read through it, I didn't know if you have any questions. So I'll make a motion to accept the contract between the town of Griswold and the Borough of Jewett City regarding collection of taxes.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the contract between the town and the borough regarding collection of taxes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6H, discussion on defining the designation of committees, boards, commissions. This was a question that came up, and I didn't know the answer, and I haven't found anybody who had the answer. What defines a commission? I mean, who decides whether it's a committee, a commission, a board? I did send a question off to Matt Willis, and his answer is, as I asked him, is there something that determines the designation of committee, commission, boards? His answer is, as a general rule, it goes by statute. Sometimes a committee would be a subset of a commission or board. I hope that helps. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit of an answer, but again, there's the vague statutes.
I'll
So,
have something if you want me to read it, believe it or not. So in Connecticut, boards, commissions, committees are local government bodies that differ by their level of authority, regulatory power, and scope. Boards typically have governing policymaking or hiring authority, or, for example, the Board of Education. Commissions often handle regulatory, specialized, or quasi-judicial functions like planning and zoning. Committees are usually smaller groups, as you said, created by boards or commissions to focus on specific or temporary tasks. And then it goes into more detail on boards and commissions, on their purpose, authority, examples, compositions, and same thing with commissions. So there is more detail out there if you look for it. That'll give you guidance for what it is. But really, commissions and boards have more power than
right,
committees.
no, thank you. All right.
Can I ask, how did we end up on that agenda item? Like, what brought up that need for clarification?
Because I'm not sure that some of our, the smaller groups, I just want to make sure that they're identified appropriately.
Yeah,
The ones that don't have authority, decision-making,
gotcha, okay.
all right? All right, any questions or other discussion on that?
So do we feel we need to take any action on clarification with any of the groups that we have? Because I think
No,
most of them are commissions, right? We have boards of elected officials, we have like the rec commission.
Well, that's what we need to do. We need to research it. We need to look at all of the standing committees, commissions that we have, and just make sure that they fall into line with what the statute
statutes
That
are,
ranges.
and also how our code is written.
I-
It matches the
Yeah.
statute too, so that,
Yeah,
I asked,
excuse me.
I was seeking clarification both to further understand how we ended up having that exact conversation, but also it's kind of part of a bigger, I think in that part of that project is we should have a conversation, maybe not today, about having an org chart basically of those things.
A
So
what?
that it's clear, like an organizational chart of those things basically, so so that it's clear to understand. We could use that as a way to define the roles, so that when we have openings like the ones that we have right now, we already have something ready to share with the town to say, hey, we're looking for an alternate member for the rec commission, here's what you can expect. And here is what the function of the rec commission is and all that. I think a lot of those things are just not super clearly laid out. So I think as part of that, it would be great if we could kind of turn that into a structured.
well, I think it's an important topic, research
It's like
project.
anything else, when you apply for a board, you should read the ordinance, what the board's about, it'll give you an understanding of
But
it.
not
I'm
everybody
just
does.
saying, we could have a way we could make it
But it should be
easily
required.
accessible and put it in layman's terms and.
It should be a
simplify.
requirement, you're right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always happen that way, so.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Or do we need to make a motion on,
There is no.
No, I don't think
No,
any-
no action?
Nope.
on this.
Okay.
Have a discussion.
all right.
Okay.
I, discussion and possible action on request for change to the Economic Development Commission ordinance to include the addition of 2 alternate members to the Economic Development Commission.
Okay, so what you have in front of you, I brought to the meeting, I wrote something up
Yes,
by request of the chair of the Economic Development Commission to add 2 alternates, which I think is a good idea to have a bench strength there and a couple more people to look at it, they can provide input and stuff like that. And if it's written, alternates cannot vote during meetings, they can only vote if they're filling a seat of a member that's missing, and there's ways that the chair can allow that to happen during the meeting. So everything in red is the changes,
okay.
everything in black is the original.
How many alternates currently?
They have none.
None.
Okay,
The state statute does allow for alternates, so we're just basically cleaning it up to match the state statute. That's what that's about, I think that's all what Rich is looking for.
okay. Now, here's another question. It's, and this goes back to our previous discussion about committees, commissions, boards. Is EDC currently a commission, given that we've streamlined the responsibility and the reporting and the decision-making?
I think they are,
I think they are
Just with
based on the
clear-
state statute,
just with clear directions from
yeah.
The board.
From the board.
From us.
So that's appropriate,
I think so.
okay. All
I
right.
think anything that's not an elected position, anything that's an appointed position has to report to something higher than them, to an executive body, right? So that's us, regardless of how you look at it. In some format, you
I don't
can't
know
just
why it
have.
has to be so complicated, I just don't,
No, I think it's simple. I think it's fine exactly as
Called
it
government.
is.
Yeah, honestly,
No
you're
change is
right.
necessary.
You're right. Okay, so how do you want to go forward with this?
So what needs to be done now? Review by town's
So
attorney?
I wanted this to get, I wanted Tina to maybe forward this to the town attorney so he could look at it, make sure it's in the right format for the ordinance.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Then I'll,
then if it is, and he makes any changes, and bring it back to us, and then we can move it to, if we approve it, then it's gotta go to a meeting, to the town meeting.
Yeah.
Town meeting?
so I'll motion to send this on to the town's attorney for revision and potential approval.
Oh, there it goes, sorry, Tina.
I didn't do it. All right, so we have a motion.
Oh, there's a second,
You seconding?
I'm second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to forward this ordinance change to town's attorney for opinion, and then go forward from there. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all right. So we're on to item number 7. Any other business that may properly come before the board? I have something. Do either of you have something?
No, that was all I had.
Okay, all right, so if somebody could make a motion, I'd like to add, under any other business, request from Public Works Director for Board of Selectmen approval to dispose of surplus equipment.
I will motion the request to discuss the Public Works Director's request onto the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to add this onto the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and Todd, I'm gonna give it to you because you have the list of vehicles.
So we have 3 pieces of equipment that we need to dispose of. We have a gentleman that is interested in a retired Grizzle fire truck for $2,500. He is also interested in the surplus street sweeper that we traded in. They gave us the allotment they said they were gonna give us, but they didn't want it. So they did give us the trade-in value. And then we have a 1991 Freightliner dump truck that the frame is rotted, it's not operable for road use, and he's interested in that. $2,500 a piece for each one, so it'll be a total of $7,500. He's a businessman from Plainfield, but he just does this stuff on the side. We've got about 15 fire trucks now that he's collected. So I would say we get rid of them. I know I've talked to both fire departments going forward that any truck they replace gets traded, so we don't end up with it.
Yeah.
And we don't have to worry about disposing of them in the future.
Did you talk to Lou at all about the Jewett City fire truck?
No,
Because
not yet.
he called me, and I think we're gonna have a meeting to talk about that. He clarified that the ISO rating's not gonna change that much, it's not gonna impact the town.
Yeah, we talked about it last week at the pre-planning meeting afterwards. It's only a half a point for having a spare truck, and between both chiefs, they discussed as a spare truck, who was gonna maintain it, neither one really wanted to.
Yeah.
So I just wanna deal with these right now,
Okay.
get them off site, and then if we have to, we can deal with that one.
Yeah, and further discussion with that, I think that's what we're gonna end up doing down the road. Yeah, I'm in agreement with the 3 vehicles that Todd's talking about.
Okay.
The trade-in.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I'll motion to approve the request from the Director of Public Works to sell the 3 excess vehicles.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, now, you'll have a disposal form to fill out?
I'll get here first, but I'll fill out a disposal form.
Yeah.
We issued not that long ago to all departments.
All departments, yeah.
And then we'll come up with a bill of sale as is, whereas he's gonna move them and we'll put all that in the bill of sale.
Okay,
And for posterity purposes, in case anybody's watching and wonders why not do something with them, they are just sitting there taking up space and causing either significant inconvenience or just mild inconvenience to the Public Works Department. And they're not really useful at this point, so let's get what we can for them.
We've tried 2 different vendors that basically part things out, and they've never gotten back to us. We sent some pictures, all the info.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any interest there.
Or turning nothing into something.
Thank you.
okay.
Mhm.
Any other discussion? No? All right, I do not have anything else under any other business.
Do we not have this under any other business?
Ryan?
No, this is from Daryl.
Yeah, we got something from Daryl. He's-
All right, we'll go ahead and motion it on.
All right, I'd like to motion on this letter from Daryl Birchman, the Rec Commission, onto the agenda.
Okay, I will make a motion to add onto the agenda this letter from Darrell Birchman from the Griswold Parks and Rec.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Want me to read it?
Yeah, if,
I gotcha. So
are
this
you
is-
familiar with it?
I read it, so.
I know you went to rec.
Yeah, that went to rec. I didn't hear about this one though.
So this is from Daryl Birchman, who I believe is the vice chair. Hello, Ryan. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I regrettably must withdraw from my role as vice chairman of Griswold Parks and Rec. Extend my best wishes to you and the rest of the committee. Sincerely, Daryl Birchman. I will just say this is a huge loss for the Rec Commission. And hopefully we can do a little recruiting, get some more people to get a little more support in there, although I do understand that it's a commitment and stuff happens, so regrettably,
Well, regrettably, we will accept, his, letter of leaving the commission, so. Okay. Anything else to add on?
Let me bring this on, this is good news, actually. That Ryan sent us.
Sure, go ahead.
It's a text. I want to bring on the letters sent by Ryan Alden, Director of Park and Recreation, discussing a 3-year grant for the Jewett City Playground Complex.
I'll let you motion it on.
I will motion on a letter from Ryan Albin.
Second.
Motion and a second to add this letter on from Ryan Aubin to the agenda.
So, dear Ryan, the Board of Trustees has approved a 3-year grant for $150,000 for improvements at the Jewett City Playground Complex. First payment will be made in May for $50,000 and payments for $50,000 each in 2027 and 2028. The Veggery Charitable Trust purpose is to provide financial aid to educational research institutions, museums, and other organizations with programs that allow children and adults to enjoy intellectual, social, physical, cultural interactions with their peers and teach sportsmanship and leadership skills. Sincerely, Patricia A. Morgan, trustee.
Mm-hmm.
So that's excellent news. That'll help a lot. Ryan's made a good effort in trying to get money so it won't impact our budget. To put in a much needed playground improvement in that area. So, it's good.
It is good.
Okay.
So, we'll see how that goes down the road.
Any questions on it? No?
No, I think his email was pretty clear on what the, what the end result was gonna be with that and where we needed to get to, so it's really, it's gonna come down to budget season here in the next couple of months, and whether or not we can, whether or not we can get that through.
Yeah, so the bottom line is, right, he needed 80 grand, he's got 50 grand right now, so he's 30 grand in the hole. So that's what we gotta talk about.
Okay.
All right, number 8.
All right, yeah. Number 8, public forum. Yes, sir.
Dave View, 59 Lee Avenue. Last night was Planning and Zoning Commission. Tina was present, and there are a lot of concerned citizens down in the Haley Meadow area and on Lily Pond Road. It was brought up and suggested that maybe we can persuade you guys to authorize having the speed monitoring sign moved from the fork at Gear Road and Lily Pond down to just by Havy Brook before the Meadow Road.
Yeah.
And that might help alert the prospective truck drivers from coming through there faster than 25. There are some, I don't know how familiar you two are, there's some very dangerous corners on Lily Pond Road, and with big triaxle dump trucks coming through, it's gonna be a little scary.
Well, I'm hoping that the residents, and I did tell them last night, I'm hoping that they do reach out to me, because I'm more than happy to go see them, but I think there has to be a conversation. There were a lot of questions last night that the Planning and Zoning Commission, it was out of their purview to answer the questions, so it's something that really has to come back to the town, so, but no, I did mention to Todd, the possibility of moving that speed limit sign. So, yeah, we will definitely look at that.
But we've used all the speed limit signs that we purchased. Didn't we buy a few of these, or these are?
No, I got 2 through a grant that we put out in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah, I think having, especially if it's a group, the residents that are in the area where this is and I know this is a persistent problem more places than just that. I know this is a regular occurrence and something that's a major issue. But if there is an area that it's specific, then I think the best course of action for them would be to reach out directly and to add it to an agenda and have a
Yeah.
conversation at a meeting. and
This
see what
is
we can-
not, this is not a unique problem.
No, unfortunately.
When Tilcon was over on the other side of town, just by Rickstown, on a daily basis, and Lisa, you know this, it was truck after truck after truck, RST. I can't even tell you how many phone calls a day we got because of the trucks. And it's hard to enforce, but it's not unique to that project that's gonna be going on
The
up there.
problem exists on Edmond Road too.
Absolutely.
And I personally have made calls and complaints.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, so I just gave up.
I understand, so.
I'm just waiting for some kid on a bike to get hit.
No, don't even, but we'll do what we can.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Yes, sir.
Martin McKinney, 8 Tom Lane. I just want to thank the Board of Selectmen on a positive note for getting us each part-time recording secretary, because if anybody was at that meeting last night, it was hours long, okay, and there was a lot of people talking, and, you know, being on a board, you guys know, it's very difficult to take notes, get involved in conversations and stuff, so I just want to thank all three of you personally for doing a short-term interim and getting us at least a recording secretary, and I'm hoping that person's going to wetlands too, or?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, good.
I
Thank
think, yeah, at least,
And I truly want to thank
temporarily.
all three of you, thank you.
You're welcome, you're welcome. Any other public forum? Yes,
Rich Grabowski, 37 Tablet Terrace. Tina, just clarify, earlier, as far as the housing authority, you said there was a question on 2 members? I know of 1, you mind explaining that to me?
well, the other, without using a name, it was pointed out that they are a non-resident because they had moved, but they still have part-time living here. They are paying taxes, and this is what Hartford is looking at. And that statute is also very vague. They are able to vote here on budget. And so there's your gray area, but I just,
I knew of that one, is there others?
well, there is a question about, and we might as well say it now. There's a question about, and I talked to Don this morning, you serving on Housing Authority and also the Board of Finance.
Okay, please explain the conflict.
You go ahead, you,
So, right now, the state statute says, no commissioner of an authority, and this is from the state statute 8-41, which is referenced in the ordinance. No commissioner of an authority may hold any public office in the municipality for which the authority is created. A commissioner shall hold office until such commissioner's successor is appointed as qualified. So right now, anybody who's a commissioner on the authority, which is the Griswold Housing Authority, cannot hold an elected office and still be on the authority that's been created in the municipality.
What is the conflict of interest? That's what I don't understand.
It's not a conflict of interest, it's a conflict with the state statute.
Well, you got to clarify.
And I'm not saying that anybody in here,
Now, you're putting all the people out there now, because there's a lot of people in town that serve on multiple commissions. Okay?
yeah,
And, now you're gonna shake the tree to the full extent, or just for me?
no, I'm just saying, you know, when we brought the thing up with the first individual,
The housing authority has absolutely nothing to do with the Board of Finance. There's no connection there at all, in any way, shape, or form.
it doesn't talk about conflict of interest, it just says you cannot hold elected office, a public office, while being commissioner on the housing authority. That's all it says. I'm talking about anything about conflict of interest.
it's at town's attorney.
Okay.
Because I wanna do due diligence on this one. Volunteers are hard to find.
This is going to be a slippery slope.
Yeah, you open up the Pandora's box, go ahead. Feel free.
Yes.
Rich Canova, Lane. So as far as other commissions and committees, you have to go look at the state statutes and see if they are formed and running under a state statute that anything like that would apply to them. There is a state statute for the housing authority, there is one for the economic development committees, and it's very cut and dry and clear about what it says. And along with a person who doesn't live in town and the person that is an elected official, you can read into it further, and I don't know if there is one or not, but is there a tenant of that community on that board?
Yes.
Okay, because there's supposed to be one of them
Yes,
too.
it's supposed to be one.
All right, but it is pretty clear that as an elected official, as far as the state is concerned, in Connecticut general statutes, you can go ask a state trooper tonight if you'd like. If he pulls you over and gives you a ticket for speeding, you're gonna see a Connecticut general statute number on that ticket.
Yeah.
And as long as it's on the books, it's valid and it's enforceable. So, I
So-
don't know, I mean, the
so-
way I read it, unfortunately, I don't think Rich belongs on the committee.
So here's a
because
question, because I'm told that local ordinances can override state statutes.
if they're more stringent.
They can be more conservative, but they have to fall within the guidelines of the statute. Statute's the law. So,
Yeah.
I've read that Connecticut statute 15 times, and the more you read it, the more you find, believe it or not.
the other thing is,
It doesn't change much, though.
so the Ethics Commission is also another odd commission, because the ethics, if you cannot be on, if you apply for the ethics, and we had this issue come up recently, individual applied for the ethics position, but you cannot be on a board 2 years prior to that, application.
Well, that makes sense, that's.
Yeah, so that person had to pull his application back because he'd been on a board, a couple boards, as a matter of fact. So,
But here's what's bothering me. We're dissecting everybody and everything. And it's gonna be problematic. It is. Instead of looking at the value of something or the value of I mean, I'm not saying that we should disregard the law, that's not what I'm saying at all, but it's like, why all of a sudden are we going after these committees and these commissions and trying to dissect them? I think,
Because we
for
have
me
to-
personally,
Yeah.
and for this board, we've got bigger fish to fry than to start dissecting all of these statutes. We've got a project coming up on 164,
Yeah.
and I really would rather we focus on those types of things, the good things, instead of dissection.
Well,
Yes,
Again, Rich Canova from Dina Lane. I don't disagree with you, but when people are on committees and boards, and they get challenged to go read the ordinances of their committees and boards and other committees and boards that the town has, you're gonna find Pandora's box is gonna get wide open. I hate to say it, but that's what happened.
we've never had this before.
But
We've never had it to this
people got challenged
degree.
To go read ordinances like this. We got challenged at a meeting one night to go read ordinances for the committees that we were on and or any other committees that are on the town.
That committee was charged 10 years ago to read ordinances, and all of a sudden now,
I wasn't on it 10 years ago.
no, I know you weren't, but it took them 10 years to start dissecting and coming up with all of this?
It took one night where it was literally put in somebody's face to go read the ordinance of the committee, and while you're at it, read the other ones too, to see what their duties and responsibilities are. And that's what happened.
Strictly political.
I can tell you there's at least 2 people that started reading them and finding things. So it's not like anybody's out to get anybody, but we were challenged to do that, so we did it. And we find discrepancies and we're gonna address them.
Right.
Mary Beth Mail, 11 Pequot Trail. I think where some of the confusion is here, that state statute that Wayne read is solely for the housing authority.
I know.
It's not talking about if you have crossover with other boards that they're sitting on with other commissions. Martin, you're on P and Z and Inland and Wetland, right?
A few more, yes.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Martin, I can't remember them all. But that one is solely for the housing.
For the
authority.
housing authority, and what I was told by town's attorney,
It's not all the other boards and commissions. That is solely a state statute.
solely for the housing authority,
one.
and that's what I was told. But what it was also pointed out to me, both by the housing department in Hartford and also by the attorney, is that statute is ancient, and they don't know why it's still in there.
Still
It's still
on.
there.
It's still there,
That's up
so
to them
we
in Hartford
we
to
need to
vote.
look, and it's a Hartford problem, that's why I've got Hartford in on this.
So
We
I'm
need to
just
change
saying
the law.
that, we're talking
Yeah.
about other boards and conflicts of interest. We're not talking about other boards with conflicts of interest and crossing over. That is solely for the housing.
Solely
authority.
for the housing authority,
So when it's black and white like that, until Hartford pulls it,
I know.
I don't know what to say to anybody.
I know. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Cheryl Canova, Donnelly. Okay, so I'm a deputy registrar in the ROV office. I will tell you, state statutes is bottom line until if you look at a state statute, there's numerous numbers on the bottom.
Yes.
That's a history. So they've revised it. If you go into that, you may see something that was revised. You may be only reading that original thing, but there may be something down there.
Some revisions.
Somebody has to detect if there was a revision, Judge. And if there is no revision, it's the state law. Until
Understood.
legislation says, no, that's no longer. That's the way it has to be. As far as I'm concerned.
I do think it's good to understand the hows and the whys of the commissions and committees being created. And I think especially in the case of very specifically what you're talking about, or we're talking about EDC, you're talking about that group as a whole, that however it was functioning as one whole unit, not singling anybody out here, but it was not functioning at all in accordance with its ordinance. And that is where the reference, I think, to the ordinance came from. And that is where a lot of the directions that we input after we discussed it came from, right, to get it more in line with what its actual purpose is. In this case, you're right, you can read that ordinance and see that it says exactly that, but I think that the thing that you have to consider, if anything, when town's attorney and the state weigh in on it, is this something, is what we're asking sensible? Is it a common sense thing? Yes, it's right there in front of us.
Yeah.
Our ordinance is written and adopted in 1966 as a town and is very vague, other than referencing the state statute. And then the state statute exists as well, and that's been updated, but hasn't been updated in a couple of years. So I think the natural progression for that is to say, hey, we see that this is here, we've acknowledged this, how can we ask for either a change or an exception to this for common sense purposes? Because I think if you're really weighing, is our housing authority better if Rich is not on it? I think the answer is probably no.
No.
Given our lack of volunteers in general, and also the institutional knowledge there and the projects we have going on. That would be that's my like common sense thought. So like, yes, it's there. How can we work with that, I think, is the question. And I think that's where we need the feedback from the attorneys and
Yeah,
from the
that's
state
where,
to
that's
say,
where the research is
what
going
kind of,
on.
what do they want, you know?
Rich Grabowski, 37 Tower. Just, not to belabor the point, but, and I may be out of step with the director, but you need to know that we are on the cusp of a $13 million project up there on McCluggage Manor. We're gonna build 26 more units with state money. And we just finished a $2 million project on redoing all of McCluggage Manor, 30 units. So you need to know that that's forthcoming. We're in the process of crossing the Ts and dotting the Is now that with the state of Connecticut, we're meeting with them almost on a monthly basis, a weekly basis. So that's going to happen.
Yep, it's this close,
Yep, we're aware. Yep, for
it's
sure.
that close, and I really would hate to see that project jeopardized. Yes.
Rich Canova again, Dina Wayne. If you look at, on the town's website, when you go looking at committees and commissions and boards and however it's being worded today, if it's governed by a state general statute, it will be right at the top of the ordinance as it's spelled out by section.
Mm-hmm.
And it references and adopts the state ordinance into that whole town ordinance thing. It adopts the Connecticut general statute and it makes it part of our ordinances. So, you know, it's, like I say, it's something we have to live with, but it's also something that if it needs to be changed, you know, you gotta go down the right channel, says what you gotta do.
Yeah, so I think,
Not all committees in town operate under a state general statute.
true.
So, which also brings me, yes, we don't want this project to be in jeopardy, right, that's going on. However, we need to make sure that we're clean with the state statutes and the state laws along with that. Because this is getting approved by HUD, right? Or supported by HUD, so we need to make
No,
sure.
it's
that-
not
No,
HUD.
it's not.
No,
It's not HUD.
it's not?
That's not.
No,
State.
Well, in either way, it's being approved by the state.
and the state is aware. I mean, the people who made the approval and the people who are, working on the fund, they know the situation, and they, you know,
Okay.
they know the players and that, and nothing has been, you know, nothing bubbled to the surface. So I will say, I don't want to see this project jeopardized. They started that project before we started the senior center. And the reason that we have the senior center, and you know this, is because of what the housing authority gave the town to build. They were supposed to have shovel in the ground first, and we beat them, and we were fortunate enough, and it's been HE double hockey sticks to get the financing, and I know I've been through it every step of the way with you. And I would really hate to see this jeopardized. Yes.
I just have, Cheryl Canover, Dino Lake. I have a question. How long have you been on the housing authority? Approximately.
Let me think now. I got on it when I retired, so, it'll be 10 years in June.
Okay, so he's been on there for 10 years. And how long you been on Board of Finance?
Just this time,
3-4 months.
This time.
since November.
So are you an alternate or are you on the board? He's a member. So, I mean, other than taking him off, could you?
I'm not taking them off anything.
No, I'm just saying, if something falls through, could you keep him? I don't know. I don't know how to work it out because he's
I
been
don't-
on the authority. for
I
a long
don't want to say anything until we know
time. Okay.
we have the answers out of Hartford. You know, we can speculate on a number of things.
I would say that if the state stepped in and said, you can't do both, it would be his decision as to which one he wants
Oh,
to
that
go.
would be his choice, absolutely.
So,
That's not up to us.
I'm gonna read this again, okay? So, commissioner shall hold office until such commissioner's successor is appointed. It doesn't give a time frame. It could be after the project started and the money's all done, you know, but, so it doesn't jeopardize the project, but you just need to be aware that there's these gotchas out there. You know, that's all this is about, you know?
No, I understand that, but I'm not gonna interpret that statute. That's why we're getting legal opinion and the housing department in Hartford. So, it's been tabled, and we'll go forward with that. That's just me. Any other public forum? Yes.
Lori Sorter, 67 Ashland. I would just ask, I would like to ask, I guess, for those that are investigating or looking into it, are all the committees that are tied to statutes, have they all been reviewed to see if there's any other? So wouldn't that seem like it's a kind of finger point then, if only one has been? Have all these committees been reviewed?
It was brought to my attention that one individual was still on the committee, moved out of town, and lives in another town, registered in another town. So, by that definition, he's changed his residency to this other town, and you need to be a resident to be a part of really any board and committee in this town. You know, it's pretty much the way it is, but, and under that same statute, you read farther down, then you read into the situation that we have with Rich. You know, it wasn't that we were looking for it, we just found it in the same statute, so.
So I guess my point is then, when these gentlemen both said, you're kind of opening up a Pandora's box, you know, if you're going to do for one, then somebody is gonna have to take that time to review all of them, you know, and make sure that everybody is following, you know, the same kind of,
Yeah, and then we could put out an email to all the chairs, all the boards, to take a look at state statutes associated with their ordinances. Make sure that happens.
I think it needs to be a separate person.
So
Lisa said she wanted to do it.
I was gonna say this, Lisa.
No,
just
Lisa,
saying you're opening
Senior
up
Center
a
Lisa
big
wants nothing to
can,
do with this
you know,
conversation.
So if we have to open up a can, in my opinion, from the background that I've lived with, if we have to make sure that we're clean, we gotta do it. So there you go. You know, I live by procedures, laws, dealing with the NRC, OSHA, and all that stuff for years. So if we have to do that, then we have to do that.
can just be as simple as asking the heads of your commissions to review their membership and review the guidelines of the things that get in their powers, and say,
That's
hey,
what I
just
just
double check exactly what you just said.
Each board could take a look at it. You know,
I don't
so-
think you should put it on, Martin McKinney, I don't think you should put it on your chairman to determine if a guy's eligible or not eligible, back to the people there. I think that you as a board of selectmen, you live and die by your sword. If you're gonna do it, you gotta do all the board yourself, figure it out and move on. But I don't think it's fair for you guys to have Scott, myself, Portland, Rich, look to hit all these boards and make a determination versus general statute whether they're not. You started the mess, you finished the mess. You gotta go do it yourself, figure it out, and go from there.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's my opinion.
I disagree with you, but
Okay, that's fine.
it's okay.
I see your point, those positions are all volunteer, they already take on a lot of work, I can understand where that's.
But I think you need another set of eyes.
Yeah.
A different set of eyes. Yes.
And that would be the
I'll agree with Martin on that as far as getting the information together, I don't think it's a problem having your board chairs pull up and printing out the ordinance, and if there is a Connecticut general statute that applies to that committee or board that they're on, but then handing it all over to you, save you the trouble of researching the statutes and the ordinances, and say, here it is, we don't have this Connecticut general statute.
I'm happy to do it because I think it's a serious thing. But I will say, you have to realize, and I'm not being mean, and I'm not being.
Get caught with one violation by the state, and they're gonna come in, and they're gonna do it for you.
Fine. So, you have to realize, you work full-time. A lot of these chairs do. It's okay, and God bless you, you're retired. God bless you, you're retired. It's easy to sit and go through all of these statutes when you have that amount of time. They don't. I don't think it's fair.
Oh, I'm gonna say something,
Go ahead,
and you're not gonna be happy about it.
go ahead.
But we had a committee that could have done all of this already, and that committee's now disbanded. And we could have done all that.
I do not disagree, but that committee was not doing what it was tasked to do. So, all right, is there any other public forum? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna comment on Wayne's comment about the committee that we had.
Excuse
I
me.
sat on that.
Excuse me.
What's your name?
Thank you.
60 Cook Hill Road. I sat on that committee from the time it was put together and started. And we had a scope and we had things to do to go through the ordinances, review them, bring things up to current standards. Also sent letters out to everybody that we thought was involved to see if there was any priorities that they wanted us to move up and look at. And we did fairly well doing that. We made headway. It's slow because it's been so long since it was updated. But it seems like we got to a point where we still were looking at things where we came up with all this new stuff we're just presenting. And that really wasn't the scope when this all started. And I think we were getting bogged down with this stuff. I mean, I saw them coming to the selectmen for a long time, and it's just, where did all this stuff come from? We didn't have an ordinance, but now we're creating one. And we haven't even really finished reviewing what's on the books. So that's my comment about that.
Mr. Barney.
Jim Barney, 735 Oakville Road. I agree absolutely with what Todd said. We were tasked with reviewing the ordinances. When I got on that committee, I read that entire book from one end to the other and made about 14 or, I don't know, 8 or 12, 14 pages of notes as I went through there, okay? And then Wayne and I, we would meet at my home and we would take and put together those things that we thought were important to deal with now. And some of the other ones we jumped over with the intentions of going back to them at a later time. And we just got bogged down, as Todd said, with new ordinances coming at us. I won't say, but
Oh, there were a lot coming through.
yeah. And then we wasted a tremendous amount of time on a noise ordinance. Dave, help me out.
I'll get Dave started.
Short-term rental,
Short-term rentals.
alarm.
Alarm ordinance.
Alarms.
Yeah, alarms.
The dreaded firearm ordinance that we packed the theater with.
That was
Yeah.
before my time.
Yeah.
I will say, working with Jim, when we came to board ordinances, we sent an email out to all the board chairs to look at their ordinances, give us any feedback if they needed any changes. And we heard back from one, and that was the ethics committee. That gave us, said they looked at it and they're good with what they had. So we did pretty much what you did, Todd, back when you were on it, but we didn't get any feedback from anybody, so. My opinion is with the ordinance committee is, we didn't get a lot of feedback. We didn't get a lot of back and forth with what we were trying to do. Jim and I had gone through 75% of that ordinance and had a lot of stuff we wanted to update, a lot of stuff we wanted to get rid of because it was old, and that's where it's been left, so. I think everybody knows how I feel about it, but.
I do kind of see all the sides of it, right? Like Tina's point that we have some pretty big fish to fry coming up, right? Big projects in the works, important things that the town needs, because as we all know, every single day when we're having these budget conversations is the one thing the town of Griswold needs above and beyond everything else is a bigger grand list and more tax dollars, right? For everyone's sake. However, I will admit that I sometimes struggle to focus on the bigger picture as well, and I get bogged down into the little processes and things that I would love to see changed. I want to put my hands on every single piece of it, and I want to change it, and I want to modernize it, and I want to simplify it, and I want to make it make sense all the time, every day. And even though sometimes I can't stop myself, and I end up, trying 17 different AI meeting notes apps, I do think that I think those things are important. I think the review is important, but I do think that we have to find the things that
But here's the thing.
we can control and stay.
When you have a 5-member board, those types of things can be addressed. But when you have
Perhaps.
a 3-member board and one person in the office full-time, I can only handle the major things.
Right.
And when all of these smaller things keep getting thrown at me, it's very, very frustrating. It's very frustrating.
I believe it.
So when you have a 5-member board, spread it out and go after those small things. Not that they're not important, but you can only slice and dice so many ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dave, U 59 Leah. I think one of the key things that some people are missing about the ordinance committee, as you just said, it was a 5-member board. But only 2 people were rewriting and making up ordinances. They didn't involve rest of the committee, which you have a committee of 5 to get a broad spectrum and backgrounds to make effective ordinances, not just the view of 2 people.
Okay.
And so I'll leave it at that.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll take one more. Two.
I hear what Dave is saying, but I think he's referring to Wayne and I at this particular moment. But prior to that, Dave and I spent a lot of time, just the 2 of us, working on various ordinances. So he's making it look like it was just Wayne and I, but that was going on with other different people there also.
Well, yes.
I'll finish it up with, I'm grateful that all it took was an email
Rich
to get it
Canova.
moving forward, to get a couple of alternates on the Economic Development Commission, and I appreciate it.
Thank you for acknowledging our correspondence.
Okay.
Neither did Mr. Barty,
No,
but
I'm not
they've already spoken
That's
once.
okay.
I'll make a
Hearing-
motion to adjourn.
Okay. We have a motion to adjourn at 7:03.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.